Hello everyone, this is Review. Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and everyone watching. I'm your host, the Report of the Week, and welcome to another installment of the Unnamed Drink series. That's right, it is still here, it is still around. It was kind of lurking in the shadows for the most part, but it is back. And, oh boy, is it back, indeed. This is a big viewer request, and it's something that really I've had going on. I've had this idea for it for a while, and finally we have the chance to implement it, and I'm pretty excited about it, to be honest. Now, I imagine, as the title says, you kind of already know what this is about, right? No, it's not about the chicken wings. That's the next one. This is the Coke versus Pepsi challenge. And this stems back to the 80s. I mean, this is an 80s throwback right there. Where, people love their soda. People like soda or soft drinks or cold drinks or pop or whatever adjective you wish to call it. People love it. People drink it 5 times a day. Some people who have the false teeth will, they like the taste of it so much they'll remove them and they'll put it in a glass of soda for the night. What some people will do is they'll bathe in it. There's the soda-only diet. But, it is a culture of soda. People love it. And, of course, you have vicious competition all throughout, where you have, of course, Coca-Cola, you have Pepsi, and then you have, the knockoff Supermart brand that no one really cares about and everyone feels bad for. But nonetheless, of course, we have this huge rivalry between Pepsi and Coke. Everyone has their side. It's been like this for decades, right? And this isn't going to be any sort of definitive answer, but merely what I want to do today is do a taste test. And I myself will determine which one I personally prefer, which one I think tastes the best. So what we're going to do, because you might be saying, okay, well, if that's the case, how can you do this with impartiality? How can you do a taste test fairly? Won't you be able to see it? Won't you be able to, easily see, oh, yeah, well, I know this one's Coke, and so on and so forth? Well, that's where we have some third-party help. We have assistance today, and here's how it's going to work. I'm going to be blindfolded, and in each one of these, we'll have one of them being Coca-Cola, one of them will be Pepsi, be poured into these glasses. I could assure you they won't be mixed together. You'll see it. Everything will be okay. After each sip, I'll rinse it out with the water, and then I'm just going to go and really be able to tell you which of these two I think is better. And then once I have reached my conclusions, we will, in the grand reveal, lift up one of these, and we'll see which one I end up preferring. So again, in one of them, it's going to be just your standard Coca-Cola. In the other one, it's going to be your standard Pepsi. So, without further ado, let's begin, shall we?
Now, before we begin, you have to wear this blindfold.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Now I'll go get the chilled beverages. Can you see?
Blindfold is snugly applied.
Okay. How's that feel?
Well, it's high fashion, I guess is the best way to describe it.
It looks lovely on you.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I'm nervous for this. I'm wondering what you're going to pick. Everyone, now before he chooses, tell me what you think he's going to pick, okay?
I will be interested. I'll be interested in seeing what everyone has to say because, I'm curious, honestly. I wonder if it's going to be just a big surprise for me or what's going to really happen.
I'm shaking.
No, it's all is good. To break the tension, I have to inquire.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite breakfast food?
Ooh. Now, back in the day, it used to be Bojangles gravy biscuits with the sausage gravy. Now, that was the stuff. Thumbs up if you feel me on this, guys. And now it's kind of like hash browns from McDonald's and the Egg White Delight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, but Bojangles is good. I haven't had the chance to
I'm so
try
nervous.
it in a
I'm
while.
shaking.
Oh, it's all good. And McDonald's is always solid. They have a good breakfast.
Oh, wait, I think I'm done. I'm nervous.
It's okay. All right, can I remove the blindfold?
Let me check. Make sure these are level. It's good.
All right, removing the blindfold.
Now, good luck. I wish the best of luck to both Coke and Pepsi stock. I hope neither one of them plummet after this.
All right, fingers crossed for no market crash after this. Thank you very much for all that you've done. Thank you. Okay, so we have the two right here, as you saw. In one of them is Coca-Cola, and one of them is Pepsi. Now, like you saw, that was a 100% authentic blindfold. I could not see, to be honest. I don't know if there's pink residue all over my face, but if there is, that's just, that's my new look, and we'll go for it. And anyway, so in one of them, Coke, one of them, Pepsi, and we're just going to give it a try. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with this one first, over here. I'm going to take a sip of it, and then I'll just sip it down with some water, and then we'll repeat. Unknown substance going in. I'm trying to be very delicate. All right, palate is cleansed. Now we'll try out the second one. Okay. And then what we'll do again, because I want maximum efficiency. I figured to break the monotony, we'll try this one once more, and then we'll just try that one, and then we'll get to the analysis. May as well, for the sake of it, I should mention, of course, I have the new podcast that's out. You know the way it goes. You can check it out, youtube.com/VORW podcast. On Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, SoundCloud, Pocket Casts, all the big ones. Search it, VORW. Okay, we did it. The proceedings went by, and now it's time to get to business. So, I was taking some notes because I'm going all serious here. I am. So I have drink 1, that's this one, and drink 2, this one. So, just kind of writing down some, some notes. Alright, first and foremost, drink 1, which is this one. I found that it had, here's the first thing. Both of them taste like soda. Now that has been established, drink 1, I think, is more on the smooth side. I think it's a bit smoother. Now, I don't know how well this is really displaying on the camera. This one looks like it's more on the carbonated side. This one, it still is, mind you, but it's not as harsh. In regards to its taste, its texture, it just seems to have... It's just more smoother. That's the best way to describe it. And when I have a drink, I always like for it to be a little bit more on the smooth side. It's also a little bit more watery, which, again, that kind of, I think, adds to the smoothness to it. Doesn't really have much in the way of acidity, a little bit of sweetness, whereas drink 2 is definitely on the more carbonated side, definitely a more harsher type of carbonation, and certainly a little bit more abrasive is probably the best way to describe it. It is a little more flavorful, a bit more on the sweet side, definitely has that acidity to it. So this one is definitely a bit more potent and just a bit stronger and again, more abrasive, the best way to put it. Whereas this drink is more mellow, smooth, and you can just kind of, even though this one might be a little more flavorful, this kind of just hits you like a wall. This one is a little bit more like a gentle absorption, probably the best way to put it. So, I mean, seeing that, to be honest, if I even had to take a guess, I mean, like in my mind, I'm thinking right now, if I had to take a guess, I would have to say, I think this one would probably be Coca-Cola, and I think this one would be Pepsi. I'm not entirely sure. That's what my guess would be, and as a result, I would probably end up going with this one because again, I like the smoothness to it, and I think that while this one is maybe a little stronger in terms of flavor, I just like the way this one goes down better. So I'm all for this one, and let's see. Let's do the big reveal, and let's see which one is which. And you might be saying, review, bro, can't you see over the top? No, I can't. I have no idea which one is which. Alright, so let's do this. Let's remove them and see what's what. No way. No way. Wow. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? You learn something new. Wow, that got me. That really got me. That is, that's a true blind taste test right there, where I was all for this one, and I was thinking to myself, that has to be Coca-Cola. That has to be. And I was thinking, yeah, that's just how it's got to be. I was thinking it tastes good. I prefer it. This one seemed a bit on the harsher side. And what does it end up being? It ends up being Pepsi, of all things. I'm actually surprised, but that's the fun of it. That's why, even though I don't do blind taste tests, very often, I mean, that's the fun of it. You never know what you're going to get, and sometimes you're just completely blown away. Like, sometimes you'll get it, and it'll be like, all right, well, this is just the way it goes. Expectations were what they were, but I'm shocked. To be quite honest, I'm legitimately surprised. Where I thought it had to be the Coca-Cola. No, that's one. So surprisingly enough, I actually, in this situation, out of the cans, I preferred the Pepsi. I actually think that had the superior taste. It seemed like it was just less abrasive than the Coca-Cola, which surprised me. Normally, I myself, I usually go with Coca-Cola when I go and get soft drinks. And I suppose it all depends too, but under this circumstance, the ones in the cans, under these conditions, I thought the Pepsi actually tasted superior, and this comes from someone who drinks Coca-Cola most of the time, so really fascinating. As a result, out of 10, if I had to just give each of these cans of soda an individual rating, I would rate the Pepsi, that being drink 1, I would give it an 8.0 out of 10, so get an 8. And the Coca-Cola is still pretty good for what it is. Would get a 7.1 out of 10. Both of them, of course, perfectly fine. It's not like I'm projectile vomiting as soon as I guzzled the first sip down. But in the end, I think I am very surprised, best way to put it. So with that being said, that is the Coke versus Pepsi challenge, a true blind taste test. And I will be honest, when I first was doing this, I really didn't know how it would go over. I wasn't sure, what was it going to be. I thought it was just going to be, kind of my expectations would have been met, and I thought it would have to be Coke. But I'm quite surprised. So it was a really fun video to do, a lot of fun to make, and had some twists and turns and some true surprises in it as well. Thank you for watching. I'm your host, the Report of the Week, and as I did mention, be sure to check out the podcast, as always. And otherwise, that's all that I have for you. Thank you for watching. Do take care, and I'll see you again in a few days with another video. That's all. Have a lovely weekend.